Hey, I'm Betek, and this video is about how to upgrade your artifacts properly in Genshin Impact. Much like other gacha games, Genshin Impact is a game that requires you to manage your resources on the macro level. That is, planning the expenditure of your materials and mora, as well as making savings where you can, will make your progress in the late game much smoother when resources are scarce. Depending on how far into the game you are, you've probably realized that the largest determinant of a character's power comes from their artifacts and set bonuses. Why are artifact stats so important? Well, I explained this in my previous video regarding using the damage formula to increase your character's damage. You can find it here. So how do I upgrade my artifacts properly? Well, the method I want to show you I actually learned in another gacha game called Epic 7. I think this method has existed in various forms long before Epic 7 has existed, but I mention it specifically because the games share a very similar upgrading system. To give you an overview, the steps we take in this method are 1. Find a piece that is worth upgrading. 2. Use fodder to achieve breakpoints, to test and see if the piece is achieving its potential. 3. Either abandon the piece if it fails to upgrade adequately, or max it if it continues to increase your desired substats. And 4. Keep collecting artifacts with good potential and repeat. The point of this method is to maximize the savings you make on gear, while ensuring that you don't miss out on potentially amazing gear if you get lucky on substat rolls. Now, that's the easy part. Let's talk about the substats. When you pick up an artifact, it will roll a certain number of lines, depending on its rarity, up to a maximum of 4. 4-star artifacts can roll 2 or 3 lines. 5-star artifacts can roll 3 or 4 lines. Generally speaking, artifacts that pre-roll more lines are better, the reason being that they have higher potential due to the way artifacts upgrade. Every 4 levels, your artifacts will gain a new substat line until it reaches a maximum of 4 lines. The substat line you gain will not be the same type as your main stat or any of the other substat lines. After this, every 4 levels you'll receive a bonus to one of the 4 substats on your artifact. The substat that upgrades is chosen at random. Okay, so I'll give you a specific example. Let's say you wanted to roll a damage Holy Trinity on your plume slot. That's percentage attack, crit rate, and crit damage. Note that the main stat of plumes will always be flat attack. If you roll a 4-star with percentage attack and crit rate only, you're not guaranteed to roll crit damage on your +4 or +8 breakpoints. If you're lucky enough to roll it on either, you only have 2 more breakpoints worth of upgrades to invest in increasing any of those substats. The 5-star artifact, by comparison, may have come with percentage attack, crit rate, and crit damage already. At which point, you'll be sacrificing fewer breakpoints to get the maximum number of substat lines, and maximizing the number of times your pre-rolled substats will then be increased. Not only this, but 4-star artifacts will generally have 25% less value on their maxed main stat and about 20% lower substat rolls because of their rarity. 5-star artifacts really are better in every way. If you're still with me, good job. It's not the easiest concept to understand. Anyway, that's the hard part done. Now that you understand how artifacts upgrade, we can move on to evaluating potential. 5-star artifacts with a god roll, for example Holy Trinity plus a 4th pre-rolled line of your choosing, are pretty much always an instant +20. However, as you get better and better artifacts, you'll need to be pickier with your upgrading. Improving your gear will get harder, so you need to be more selective. You can't just max any 5-star artifact and pray it will roll better than your current gear, because you'll run out of resources very quickly. By upgrading an artifact by +4 each time, and seeing where our substat investment goes, we're able to assess the likelihood of obtaining an upgrade on a piece without maxing it out and potentially wasting our resources. This applies to artifacts with fewer than 4 lines as well. If we test the artifact to see what new line it rolls, we may get lucky and turn a non-god roll piece into a god roll piece, albeit with 1 less breakpoint left to invest. I'll run you through a quick example on a piece I have here. This plume rolled 3 lines to begin with. I upgraded it to +4 looking for a god roll by getting crit damage on the 4th line. It rolled into HP instead. disappointing. But given that it was a 5-star and better substats than my current gear on Fischl, I opted to continue to +8. Then it rolled into flat defense. That was the easiest abandon of my life. It was definitely no longer worth investing into this plume any longer. Now take this 4-star plume for example. It rolled 3 lines as well. I know it's a 4-star, so it will have lower potential than a 5-star. I rolled to +4 looking for percentage attack and got it. It's now a god roll piece. I went to +8 and it rolled crit damage. Perfect. At +12, it rolled crit damage again. So I maxed it. And it rolled into percentage HP. Bit of a bummer, but I still ended up with a decent piece. Much better looking 4-star than the previous 5-star I showed you. So to conclude, 5-star artifacts have much higher potential than 4-star artifacts. The better your gear, the pickier you should be about upgrading it. Keep in mind that just because it doesn't roll well for one character, doesn't mean it won't be a good piece for another character. Test your gear by upgrading to the next breakpoint, which is every 4 levels, and if it's not looking favourable, abandon the piece and be patient until you find another piece with good potential. And as a final piece of advice, AR45 is when you should really be starting to artifact farm, because you're guaranteed at least one 5-star artifact every single run. Try to save your fragile resin for this if you can. And that's it. As always, I hope you found that helpful. There was a big gap between this video and the last because I've been busy with work and didn't have the time, so I'm sorry about that. Please leave a like and hit subscribe if you enjoyed the video or learnt something from it. And you can visit me on my live stream at twitch.tv/bear_tech. Thanks for watching, take care, and take it easy. So to conclude, 5-star artifacts have much higher potential than 4-star artifacts. The better your gear, the pickier you should be. So to conclude, 5-star artifacts have much higher potential than 4-star artifacts. The better your gear, the pickier you should be about upgrade. Why is this so hard?